Hi, I'm Elise, this is Witch Way, and today I'll be taking you through the witch lore of Cast a Deadly Spell and the sequel, Witch Hunt. Released in 1991, this film noir fantasy comedy was directed by Martin Campbell. Cast a Deadly Spell stars Fred Ward as Harry Lovecraft, Julianne Moore as Connie Stone, David Warner as Amos Hackshaw, Anisha Walker as Hippolyta Kropotkin, and Alexandra Powers as Olivia Hackshaw. Set in a fictional 1940s where magic is used by everyone from waiters to police officers, private detective Harry Lovecraft is hired by the wealthy Amos Hackshaw to retrieve a stolen grimoire. With the help of his landlady, Hippolyta Kropotkin, and his old flame, Connie Stone, he must track down the book. But he isn't the only one after it, and why is this tome so important? The follow-up Witch Hunt had returning characters but different cast. Released in 1994, it was directed by Paul Schrader and starred Dennis Hopper as Harry Lovecraft, Penelope Ann Miller as Kim Hudson, Eric Bogosian as Senator Crockett, Cheryl Lee Ralph as Hippolyta Kropotkin, and Julian Sands as Finn Mucker. This time, private detective Lovecraft is hired by the actress Kim Hudson to investigate her unfaithful husband. But when the man is murdered by magical means, the anti-magic Senator Crockett jumps at the chance to outlaw magic, and Hippolyta Kropotkin is the perfect scapegoat. All the while, Lovecraft is sent on a wild goose chase by Finn Mucker, who is keen to harness Lovecraft's skills for his own purposes. But how are all of these events connected? And how much real-world witch lore does this series draw from? Some of the places and events in this fictional universe, including our protagonist's name, was inspired by H.P. Lovecraft's Cthulhu Mythos, a series of works set in an alternative universe of eldritch horror. The name of the grimoire our PI is tasked with finding is also from this mythos, the Necronomicon. Claimed to be real, this tome prompted many to produce reproductions, including the Simon Necronomicon. I'll include a link to an episode of the Occult Confessions podcast for more on the history of this infamous volume. This Necronomicon includes an image called Rebus from Theoria Philosophiae Hermeticae and represents the final form in an alchemical process. On the search for this grimoire, our PI is tipped to head to another location inspired by the Cthulhu mythos, the Dunwich Room. This is inspired by The Dunwich Horror, a short story by H.P. Lovecraft, and includes whisperings of witchcraft, so I'm definitely looking into more adaptations of that story in the future. Many of the characters' names from these films are inspired by real-world people or mythology. In this second film, we hear Lovecraft's landlady's full name:
Hippolyta Laveau Kropotkin.
Laveau is obviously inspired by the voodoo queen of New Orleans, Marie Laveau, who lived for the most part of the 19th century, and Hippolyta was a character from Greek mythology. We see our Hippolyta casting a circle and throwing bones. At first, I thought she was using this method for divination, which is how it's actually practiced. But then she recites these lines.
Fair is foul and foul is fair. Hover through the fog and the filthy air.
This is a quote from the Weird Sisters from Shakespeare's Macbeth, and who do these words summon? Well, the famous playwright himself. Funnily enough, Hippolyta is also a character in Shakespeare's A Midsummer Night's Dream. Cheryl Lee Ralph, who portrays Hippolyta in the second film, has also had another witchy role. In the 90s sitcom Sabrina the Teenage Witch, she portrays cousin Zsa Zsa Goowiggy. And most recently, she is president in the amazing motherland Fort Salem. I can't wait for the season finale of that one. She isn't the only one to have played witch before, or since, should I say. Julianne Moore, who portrays Connie Stone, was the leading witch antagonist in The Seventh Son, and you can check out my witch lore review for more on that. And Julian Sands, who portrays Finn Mucker, is the title character in the 1989 film Warlock, and also apparently appears in the sequel Warlock Armageddon, so I might check those out soon too. He has an interesting Irish accent in this film though, probably due to his character's last name, Mucker. This is a goddess from Irish mythology who, according to some lore, is one of the three sisters making up the Morigna, who is also sometimes seen as one figure, the Morrigan, who can take on the form of a crow. Hopefully not this crow though, because it looks absolutely terrifying. Cast a deadly spell and witch hunt, score for lore, and a little bit of the craft. I really liked the world they created, this 90s, 40s film noir world where magic is the daily. They also included vampires, werewolves, gremlins, and unicorns. They created a very different world, but I feel like the charm from the first one is definitely done better. And apparently these are part comedy. If so, it's very dry. What did you think of these films? Let me know in the comments below, as well as any other witchy recommendations for my witch lore reviews. These two were actually recommendations, so thank you very much to everyone who has already made recommendations so far. If you like what I do, please remember to like, share, and subscribe, and follow me on my socials linked below for some additional content. And as always, thank you very much for watching here on Witch Way.